All right. Um, when you were alone, you were easiest to victimize. And that's why I had so many issues. Whenever I had to go in to speak to the police, I always had to go in alone. When you're a male and you have issues with gang stalking, you get blown off by everyone. Nobody cares. When it's you against a group of people, it's your word against theirs. You need a witness. Um, Before Tim Beeson got a hold of me, basically everything that I had to say to Natalie, it didn't matter. I got a hold of police before Tim Beeson got a hold of me the first time. Um, I was bullied to the point of being suicidal by the Boulder Police Department after I hurt my back because I was easy to victimize. They knew right where I would be. I couldn't travel very far. My back was fucked up. And that's what Natalie saved me from. While my so called friends, like Veronica Randall, didn't have time, and Josh Hughes didn't have time, they had plenty of time to treat me like shit because they didn't want to understand. They didn't want to make the effort to understand. Hey, well, you guys are comfortable in your own houses and you're able to work and you have other people helping to pay your bills so that you don't end up homeless. And you have a mailbox that you can have stuff sent to. You have a running vehicle so you can go places that you need to. Yeah, you're not going to pay any goddamn attention, are you? When you go into the police and you try to tell them about the harassment that you're dealing with, you get blown off. Now, there are criteria that will change that. If you're a pretty girl, yes, everybody wants to help you because you're a pretty girl. But then again, there are a lot of pretty girls who have admitted to me that they use that. They absolutely know that they're pretty. They know that they can get away with things that nobody else is going to get away with because of their looks. But the fact is, when you need to turn in a police officer, you better be pretty or you better have someone go in with you. You are easiest to victimize when you're alone. And if somebody doesn't think that they can victimize you by themselves, they will manipulate other people into helping them to victimize you. And I've had to deal with this my entire life because it's always been just me. I have been alone. When I say that I'm alone, I'm not talking about I don't have a girlfriend. I've never had a girlfriend. But that's not the point of the matter. The point of the matter is I'm alone. I am by myself, is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to tell you that I'm not in a relationship. I'm telling you it's just me. When a serial killer goes out and finds a victim, do they go after a group of cheerleaders? No. Those cheerleaders all have parents, they have teachers, they have people that care, they have people who will take notice if they go missing. But when you've got a prostitute at a truck stop, yeah, nobody misses them. Nobody's going to miss them for months. potentially. But if you're talking about a male, I mean, then people care even less. There have been quite a few women who have let me know that they were gang stalked, that they have gone through this same treatment by the police. Most of them are older women or large women or drug addicts, and they don't get treated very well. They're not human beings to your society. Meanwhile, if you're pretty, you get called an addict and you need help, you need rehab. But if you have your cheeks sunk in from meth use and you've been picking on your face, you're not attractive anymore. You're a junkie to the rest of the world. You're not a human being to the rest of the world because you're not pretty anymore. Alicia Bollinger, if she doesn't get off those drugs, she's going to go from, oh, that poor addict to, fuck you, junkie, get the hell out of here. I don't have any shit for you. That woman in Washington State who is selling her body for heroin. Natalie Bollinger is going to be that girl in 10 years or less if she can't get her fucking shit straight. She's going to end up in the same position as her mother. She's going to end up in the same position as my mother, having to rely on abusive men. My stepdad's not abusive to my mother, not even close. And as far as being abusive to me, sure, he was verbally abusive a bit. I mean, I understand why. When I was 7 years old, I said Michael Scott Wade molested me, and he didn't. I just didn't fucking like him. He never forgave me for that. And I do fully understand why. I don't hold that over his head or hold that against him in the least bit. He was in a fucked up position with a fucked up woman. My mother, when I was in high school, shit, the only thing that we really had to talk about was her wanting me to get cocaine from my friends. I'm like, my friends don't mess around with cocaine. We're a bunch of fucking potheads. Stop asking me. But I didn't spend much time at my mom's house. When I was grounded. When I finally left my mother's house, I mean, I moved in to live with my mother when I was 15. I moved out when I was 16. Went into the system. And it was kind of back and forth like that for a while, where I would live with other people who weren't my mother, like Dennis and Brenda Dickinson. They were good to me. Um, I don't remember what I titled this video, so I'm not sure what the topic's even supposed to be. But the fact is, a lot of messed up stuff happened to me. Now, I'm really going to go over the situation that happened in when I lit the fire. Those things that I recorded Miss Peaches saying, and the things that I recorded Mandy Hughes saying, and Aaron Cockerham, and many others, including Graham and Tabby. I recorded those things for a reason. Now, Miss Tabby didn't know that I had recorded the conversations between her and Graham when she lied to Miss Peaches. So when Tabby decided to lie to Miss Peaches because me and Tabby got into an argument, she wanted to stick up for her current penis, Graham. And I understand that, but Graham isn't sane. She threw away somebody who was decent to her and loyal to her for a fake. Graham is a fake. Now, if Miss Peaches was to listen to the conversations here on my YouTube between myself and Tabby, she would be pissed off at Tabby for fucking lying to her, and rightly so. Because part of her decision, part of Miss Peach's decision to treat me completely like shit was based off of Miss Tabby and the things that Tabby told Miss Peaches. Well, Miss Tabby said the opposite in those videos with me. And those are right here on this YouTube. See, the thing is, with all of these people, none of them kept their words to write a report. I couldn't get a public defender to do their goddamn job. Now, a lot of people say, Sean, you just have the worst fucking luck. There is no way somebody has luck like you do. Well, I'm going to explain to you how that works. Miss Peaches didn't do what she said she was going to do, which is write a police report and go in with me to talk to the police. But she never got around to the first part. And she wanted to pawn me off on a guy in Florida. I can't take care of myself. I can't work. I'm intelligent, so I should be able to, but after everything I've gone through, no, that shit runs through my head all the fucking time. I can't see my loved ones because of slander that I was never allowed to defend myself against. No matter how much evidence you have, if law enforcement won't take a look at it and the courts won't take a look at it and your public pretender won't take a look at it, it doesn't make a goddamn bit of difference. When your public pretenders don't even show up to court and you try to fire them, you're not even allowed to do that. You're fucked. The fact is, the abuse that I had to go through because these people didn't make an effort to keep their word to write a fucking police report. Not one. Not even one. Now, you're easiest to victimize when you are alone. See, when Natalie and her friends and family were gang stalking me before her death, I couldn't get anyone to listen to me. I just didn't matter enough for them to listen to what was going on. I didn't matter enough for that. If I was too pushy because I was having a fucking panic attack, I got snapped at or yelled at. In the case of Derek Parrish, for days on end. But I'm the bad guy because, I mean, that literally shuts me down. I've gone to this man to try to get help. And because of an argument that he and his girlfriend Joanna Taylor had, I took several days worth of almost nonstop verbal abuse from the man, to the point that Joanna Taylor Smith asked him to stop. And his own mother, who is now dead, asked him to stop. And he just wouldn't do it. He wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop being an asshole to me. He just wouldn't stop. Now, there were 3 occasions where I spoke to Miss Joanna Taylor after that. One of them was a phone call while I was up in South Dakota visiting Jamie and her son. And instead of listening to what I had to say, she was busy with those pretty fucking blonde girl words. Oh, you need to do this and you need to do that. No, I don't. Miss Peaches had claimed that she tried to go into the police and the police wouldn't listen. She had tried to explain to the media what was going on and the media wouldn't listen. Same thing with Caramia. Same thing with Dan Faber. Dan Faber didn't say that he tried to go to the police. He said that he tried to go to the media. But the fact is, nobody would listen. It's okay to abuse me. According to the media, it's okay to abuse me. According to the police, it's okay to abuse me. But here's where all of these people fucked up. They all tried it by themselves. When Miss Peaches tried to go speak to the police, she went in by herself. And her constitutional rights were violated when the police didn't take her report, when the police wouldn't even see her. However, she has produced absolutely no evidence to me or otherwise that she ever actually wrote the things that she said she was going to. Then there's Mandy Hughes. She went in by herself. And Erin Cockerham claimed that she tried too. Now, none of these people have produced any evidence to suggest that they ever actually did that. None of them. Not one. None of them can remember any of the officers that they supposedly talked to. And that's a major issue. I saved information from most of the police officers that I spoke to. Now, I explained to all these people the term mentally ill means that I cannot go to the police by myself without being victimized. And they all just blew me off. And instead of coming forward about why they blew me off, they treated me like shit for saying, hey, you blew me off. The only way for me not to be victimized in that scenario was for someone to go in with me, for someone to care. Before Natalie was killed, all of these people felt comfortable talking over me or snapping at me or yelling at me. Not all of them, because Mandy Hughes I didn't know before Natalie was killed. But all of the ones that I knew that I had gone to help for before Natalie died, they all had things that they wanted me to do. Sean, I want you to do this. Sean, I want you to do that. And I jumped through those hoops. And I was still having to deal with the gang stalking and the harassment and the threats. I was never allowed to go to court to show evidence. I was never allowed to show evidence to the police. Meanwhile, they want me to do things that obviously I am not capable of doing. Not without an environment where I can sit down and actually work on it when I need to, and not have the fucking TV blaring, and not have somebody yelling at whoever the fuck they're yelling at, whether they're yelling at the TV over a video game, or yelling at their spouse because they're drunk, or yelling at their girlfriend because they're on fucking methamphetamine. No, you can't fucking work in that environment. How many of you can work in that environment? Actual work, because this is a lot of fucking work. Now, I was supposed to have an advocate. I can't function at all. I can barely function to make these fucking videos. I get overwhelmed and then I shut down. I have been trying to function on shutdown mode for 3 years. It's not that I'm crazy or psycho or schizophrenic. It's that I'm overwhelmed and I am shut down from the mass quantity of this. But also from the fact that the people who claimed that they cared didn't. They wanted to tell me what to do, not show me how to do it, not listen to the fact that I'm not capable of doing what they want. I don't have the resources. And to be victimized by people who claim that they love me, to be victimized by Candace Bondurant because of the things that happened at her house with Officer Michael Beard. That is so fucked up. I need help. And I treat these people like shit because they treated me like shit for asking for help, for telling them the help that I needed. No, Sean, you need this, you need that. And all of these people have 100 different ideas apiece of what I should be doing. In order to get these people to go in with me to talk to the police, I jumped through their hoops. And then they call those hoops help. No, those hoops are not help. Those hoops did not get you to go in with me. Miss Peaches wants to be pissed off because I said she made no effort. She made no effort. She made all sorts of effort to help me out, to see a therapist, and so on and so forth. But the fact is, when the police slandered my name, she said nothing, she did nothing. Nothing at all. And she knew that I was being slandered. That's the worst part, is that she was trying to help me because of all of the slander that I was going through that she knew was fucking bullshit. But she never wrote it down. All of these people expected me just to collect it all from our Facebook, from our text messages, and take it into the cops. No, that's not gonna work without you going in with me, Miss Peaches. Without you keeping your word to go in with me. If you don't go in with me, it doesn't make a goddamn bit of difference. And when you throw me out to the wolves on the 29th of December of 20 fucking 17, and then after that you're telling me you're going to help. No, I'm still out there being victimized, Miss Peaches. I needed someone to care about my rights enough to actually take charge and help instead of throwing me out into the fucking weather, throwing me out to a place where I am obviously going to be victimized after all of the slander that was on the news. I need a safe environment and someone to go in with me. And I have been trying to get that. People keep saying you need an advocate. I've been fucking trying. People say you need to go see a therapist. I've gone to see the fucking therapists. They're not doing a goddamn thing. I can't afford to go to the fucking therapist. People treated me like shit over all the free money that I got. I can't take care of myself. No amount of money is going to change that. That's not true. That's not true. Chump change is not going to change that. That's not to say that I'm not thankful for the $50 that I got this month. That's to say that $50 is not going to get me fed and get me to these appointments and pay for part of the bills here. That 50 bucks isn't even going to cover my food for the month. And people keep saying, you need to go here and you need to go there. All of these places that I've already gone to. And now I don't have the ability to because of rotten police officers and because of the complacency of the people who said that they cared. Miss Peaches is pissed off about the things that I had to say, but she wouldn't listen to what I had to say. Now, in those videos, obviously, she's listening in those to some degree. But she didn't listen before I had to break the law. She was too busy smoking pot and playing on her fucking phone. And that's not all she did. I mean, obviously, she's a mother. She was taking care of her children. She was going to work. But I needed help collecting that evidence. And I needed someone to go in with me to make the police do their jobs instead of victimizing me and going out of their way to send me into a panic attack for trying to turn in officers. When I was slandered in court, the things that Miss Peaches is pissed off about me saying, was she pissed off when those things were said about me in court? No, she didn't fucking care. She wasn't in court. She wasn't making a statement. She wasn't keeping her word. I am justifiably pissed off at all of these people because I wasted my resources at Tabby on empty promises from Tabby and from Graham. I wasted my resources going to see Miss Peaches. I wasted my resources to get help, to get the help that I needed so that I wouldn't be victimized. Just one person to stand with me, one of these people to come forward. And I know in those videos, you can go ahead and bitch at me because Miss Peaches said that she tried to go to the media. And all of these other people tried to go to the media. But the fact is, it didn't work because they went in alone. People keep giving me phone numbers. Those phone numbers don't help without someone going in with me. In order to get an advocate, I need someone to go in with me. In order to make it to doctor's appointments, I need someone to take me to those doctor's appointments. But then you have to pay attention to where you're going. Are you going to see an actual medical doctor? Or are you going to see a doctor that's on the police payroll? That's not to say that the police are bribing them. That's to say that police will take you wherever it is that people will do what the police ask them to. And mental hospitals are one of those places. When the police take you to a mental hospital, the mental hospital doesn't bother to listen to what you had to say. Why? Because you were taken there by police. They're doing what the police want. I needed a safe environment. I still do. I get overwhelmed when he plays video games. I get overwhelmed when he watches Dexter. I get overwhelmed when he's watching Game of Thrones. I get overwhelmed when he's watching Family Guy because I have work to do and I can't do that work. And I have a panic attack about the fact that I can't do that work. When I went to Miss Peaches, I didn't need to be screamed at and yelled at. I needed help. I was asking for the help that I needed. Miss Peaches, I need you to go in with me to make the police take my report. But she literally never did. The only person who ever actually went in with me was Molly Smith. In order to do the things that I need to do, I need a safe environment to go through all of this. Now, in the conversations between me and Miss Peaches, yes, she admits that she was a drug dealer. And she admits that she sold those drugs to a woman who later became a police officer. But the fact is, all of this happened and these officers got away with it because they painted me as a villain in the public, just like Natalie Bollinger had done. And instead of any of these people looking at the evidence, they treat me like shit because they never did. When I went to Joanna Taylor Smith and Derek Parrish's to show them what was going on with Natalie and fucking Alicia and all of these fucking twack jobs, I couldn't get a word in. I mean, on the ride from uh, Ken and Leah's to my place here in Chapel, Nebraska before Natalie died, when Derek and Joanna gave me that ride, they were arguing with each other over whose turn it is to speak. I needed their help. Meanwhile, they never came forward. After Natalie died, they came and saw me. Well, I was at the Super 8 in Longmont. I tried to show them the evidence then. They said, no, I believe you. And then later on, they treated me like shit. Both of them. They threw me away because they want to be friends with the people who are actually there. Meanwhile, Maddie Boa has not been abused over her fucking slander against me. Alicia Bollinger has not been abused over her slander against me. Assisted suicide should be legal. I mean that. For some odd reason, my mouse isn't working.